known as Denise, and if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by, checking out my channel. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, click that notification bell so you will not miss another video. And if you are not new, then as always, thank you for being loyal. I truly appreciate the loyalty. So we're gonna go ahead and, as you already know, get right into this video. It can be tough, a millennial, it can be tough as a person, no matter what generation you're in, it can be tough starting a new job. So I'm gonna share with you guys my top tips to be successful in your first job, or at your first job, in your career, as you're starting off. If you switch from one job to the other, here are the tips that I think can benefit anyone, no matter what situation they're in, no matter what stage they're in. If you are my CF SLPs, this is gonna help you be successful at that first job. Tip number 1, time management. Learn how to manage your time at work. Utilize your time at work to get things done. Even if you have to write them down on a calendar, on a planner, create yourself little checklists so that you are making sure you are doing and hitting every mark that you do, that you need to do and need to hit. And when you have that extra time, use that time wisely and get things done ahead of time. If you can go ahead and work ahead, or because you never know when something's gonna hit your desk, you never know when something is going to not go as planned and you're gonna wish you had more time. So use your time wisely, manage your time. And if you're not good at managing your time, look up videos on how to manage your time. Ask the people around you, hey, I'm having a hard time managing my time here. What are some of your tips? How do you manage your caseload? How do you manage, you know, whatever the type of work you're doing? How do you manage this? Because I need help. Tip number 2, get organized. Nobody wants to work with someone who is unorganized, disorganized, all over the place. When you come into your office is just a mess. When you come into your workspace is just a mess. Granted, you're gonna have those days where you're trying to get things done and things are all over the place. But if you can stay organized, stay organized. Stay organized with things you're writing down. It's gonna definitely help you manage your time better. Stay organized with the tasks that you need to complete. It's gonna also help you manage your time better. Organization is going to be the key at any job. So whatever job you're on, figure out the things that you are able to do to maintain organization in your work area and do it. Next tip is to not take work home. Work is for work. Your home life is for your home life. So if at all possible, minimize the work you're taking home to minimum work or no work at all. I prefer no work at all. If you have to stay at work an extra 30 minutes to get a couple of things done, do that instead of trying to bring that work home to do, okay? Because you need to have the next tip, which is balance. You have to have work-life balance. If you are constantly doing work at work and then bringing work home, you are never gonna have a balance, because when you come home, you're going to still be thinking about work instead of thinking about yourself, thinking about doing things for yourself, thinking about your family, thinking about other things that you can do. Work is gonna be in your mind and you're never gonna get a break from it. You need a balance from work, and you need to separate your work life and your personal life. So if at all possible, do not bring work home. Do not overwhelm yourself. If you must bring work home, set a time. If you get off work at 5 o'clock and you know you're bringing work home, at 7 o'clock, I'm done doing work. At 7 o'clock, it's my time. I'm not spending any extra time focusing on my job. I'll do that when I go back to work while I'm getting paid, okay? So minimize that bringing work home stuff. If you are a new clinician, when you do it one time, you do it all the time. So don't make it a habit, because it's easy to get in the habit of saying, I'll catch up on the weekend, I'll catch up later, I'll do it then. And then you realize you're spending your weekend doing notes that you could have already had done if you just took the extra 15, 20, 40 minutes, even if you take 40 minutes, staying after the time you're supposed to get off to get all that work finished. You will definitely appreciate it in the long run. Tip is to be open and be honest. Be open to learning something new. Sometimes you go to a place and different supervisors or different people want things a certain way. Just be open to learning their way, okay? And be honest with yourself. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. But at least you were open to trying it. At least you were open to learning something new. So don't be closed-minded when you go into a job thinking you know it all because you have such amount of experience, or even if you have little experience, because the little experience you have is still some valuable experience to whatever career or whatever field you are in. So be honest with what you know, what you can do, what you can gain. Be teachable. This is one thing that I've actually heard at my CF currently, that I'm teachable. So be teachable. People are gonna tell you things sometimes and you already know the answer to it. Let them tell you. Even if you heard it 5 times, let them say it again, because honestly, number one, it's kind of helping you, it's helping drill in your brain that, okay, I need to remember this. I've heard this 5 times. Obviously, it's of some importance to my career, my field. So let people tell you things, okay? People feel good when they are able to pass on some knowledge, so let them pass it on. And if they pass on some and you're accepting to hear it, and you are taking some of their advice and applying it, or attempting to take it and applying it, if it works for you, they're going to be willing to give you more advice. They're going to be willing to extend that hand and willing to help you. There's always something that can be learned, and even if you don't like their method, you know, hear them out. Maybe you can try it, but if you know it's not gonna work for you, then you don't have to try it. Most times people are giving you advice, and that's just what it is, advice. If it's not a standard, something that you have to do, you don't necessarily have to implement it. But don't cut people off, don't be rude, just hear them out and let someone teach you something. It's only way that, it's really the main way that you're gonna grow. Especially for my speech pathologists in the field starting off, be teachable. There's gonna be different placements that you go to, and people are gonna be doing things 20 different ways, okay? Learn their way, know the way you like. You may pick up some new techniques that you can add to your toolkit, to your personal toolkit, to your personal way of doing things, and it just helps you grow. It helps you be a better clinician overall, helps you be a better, whatever field you're in, overall you're going to be better because someone is able to teach you something. Learn from others. When you're going through and you have an opportunity to see how other people are doing their work, take the opportunity to learn from them. Ask them questions. People really love sharing knowledge, sharing information, being able to pass on something to someone else. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to just watch them if they allow you to. I know, again, in my field that we're kind of able to, like, you know, peek in on this person, observe them do this, learn how to do this, because people are always doing things a little different. They know more than you know, able to show you and teach you something new. So if you have the opportunity, take advantage of that, because once again, it's going to help you be a better whatever you are in whatever field you are. Communicate. Sometimes it's tough, and I know for me, I'm not, what's the word to say, I kind of keep to myself. I'm a little more shy. I feel like sometimes when people are busy and I know maybe I feel a certain way, or, you know, maybe I need them at the moment, I try to be respectful of their time. But I'm kind of learning that there's a way to approach people without always seeming like you're bothering them, because that can also probably be really annoying. But that's just my personality, because I kind of just don't want to ever feel like I'm, you know, stepping on someone's toes, like, you know, stepping on eggshells on people. That's just me. But, you know, communicate with people. People really want to communicate with you, and sometimes you shut yourself off by not communicating with them. Sometimes they don't even know how to open up that line of communication. So if you start it, people will be more receptive of that. They'll be more including of you. You know, it can be tough depending on what type of work environment you're in, but just speak to people. Start there. Start by just speaking, saying hi, being nice. Bring some donuts to work. You know, do little things. You don't have to go out of your way every time. You don't have to, you know, be super extra, but definitely just communicate with people. And if you're feeling some kind of way, just communicate. They're willing to help you. I know I had an incident where I just couldn't figure out something, and I just went to someone in the other profession and I asked them for help. And then I realized that 2 people there were willing to help me, and I didn't even ask the other person. And they were like, oh, just bring me your laptop, I'll show you how to do it. And we, all 3 of us, just did it together. So that made me feel really good that they were willing to help me, because we don't interact that much. So just open up that communication. People want to talk to you more than you think. Be mindful of your facial expressions. For me, this is really a tough one. I don't know, in our community, this is probably really also tough, because our face sometimes can tell it or not tell it. And most of the times it's not telling it, but to other people it's telling it, just because it's very, okay? Like, we don't have to show our facial expressions. We have a good way of just kind of hiding them a little bit, or just, you know, sometimes get a little heated. you know, and you may look a little like, okay, but just be mindful of those. If there are things you can do to not really cause any confrontation and things you can kind of eliminate that, you know, don't change who you are, just be mindful of those types of things. The next thing you should do is research. You're on your job, you landed the job, you got the job, girl, you doing good, guy, you doing good, but that does not mean education stops. That does not mean there is more you can do or something better you can do. So definitely always educate yourself, always do research on whatever it is you're doing. I'm learning that. I had a patient in my personal field that has a diagnosis that I was treating, and I kind of was in my head feeling like, you know, how can I really help this patient? How can we have a plan? I love plans. Sometimes you can't always plan, but how can I really plan this? And so I just printed out an article about the diagnosis that the patient has, different techniques that can be used to help, you know, treat this patient. And I'm gonna read that on my own personal time and then go back in the next week with a better plan. And sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you are just doing the best you can do at that moment, knowing in your head that you can do better, and then I'm gonna go research so I can come back and do better. The next tip is to encourage yourself, okay? Encourage yourself. You're gonna have people on your job that are gonna tell you you're doing a great job, that are gonna admire you, admire how you treat your patients, admire how you provide services, admire you when you do a good job, and talk about you when you're doing something wrong. So definitely just encourage yourself. You're growing, you're learning, you're doing the very best you can. As long as you're putting your best foot forward, that's really all that matters. Do the best you can. People will see your work ethic more than they will see or remember a mistake you made. If you're making the adjustments you need to make, put in the time, the effort, the work, people are gonna see that. It's gonna be noticed. So just be forgiving. Be forgiving of yourself. Don't hold on to a mistake you made. I know it hurts. I know it doesn't feel good. I know sometimes you may want to feel like you want to cry, but forgive yourself, okay? Be patient with yourself. Be forgiving and know that it's a process and learn from it. If you learn from it, you're going to be 10 times better than if you sit there and worry and cry about it. So forgive yourself and move on. Do not cry over spilled milk. It's already spilled. Clean it up. Figure out how you cannot spill that milk again. I know one thing that I'm just now starting to do also is to post like encouraging quotes, not only for my patients but for myself, up and around in my office and in different places that I can see. Post my goals so I can see them visibly. Like, encourage yourself, motivate yourself. You're doing a great job, you're growing, you're learning, and that's the most important thing you can do on your new job. So hopefully these tips are very helpful in helping you transition into a new job, into a new space. These are things that you can implement no matter what level you're in, no matter what stage or area in life you're in. If you're going into a new environment, these things are tips that I found to be helpful for me, and hopefully they'll be helpful for you. If you enjoyed this video, if it was very helpful, you already know what to do. Like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.